Wow. Okay. So every once in a while, I have this thought that I've seen enough. I've done this enough. I've covered it enough. Nothing in the WNBA is going to surprise me anymore. I cannot be caught off guard. And then, bam, something else happens. And this is I was going to say wild. I know I say wild a lot, but it is wild. Maybe it's a little bit crazy. We have to talk about Amber Cox. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I was going to say weekend because I was getting ahead of myself and say, hey, hope you have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Hope it's not raining where you are. We're supposed to get rain all weekend. But anyway, so y'all remember the absolute cluster that we just had with the whole Caitlin Clark and the injury, non-injury, load management, not load management, rules violation. By the way, because the WNBA agrees with the Fever in terms of how Caitlin Clark's being handled, got a warning for that rule violation. So it was actually a rule violation, but no punishment for the Indiana Fever. So now we get this. This is Amber Cox, supposed grown woman, supposedly the GM for a professional sports team that's valued at what, over $500 million at this point, and yet she cannot keep herself from acting like a petulant, immature, childish brat. Is that too hard? Is that too hard? Well, check this out. And by the way, there were multiple posts like this. Okay, this is not the only post that starts with ECYMI for in case you missed it. We won the game, and these two showed out, and of course had a nice clip with Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. People know who Amber Cox is because of Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever are who they are because of Caitlin Clark. The WNBA has their new CBA because of Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever, with Amber Cox as their GM, are a bunch of Keystone cops, absolutely incompetent, couldn't handle the simplest thing of Caitlin Clark missing a game. They kept changing their story. They kept lying. They kept changing. Completely incompetent to the point, again, of it being a rule violation. Rightfully pissed off a lot of Indiana Fever fans, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans who were going to that game, who bought tickets. We saw the footage of how many people decided to stay home and were like, hey, you know what? I'm not going because they announced it, what, 2 hours before game time. Stephanie White's like, she's healthy, but it's load management. Well, that's how it was reported. And then it was, no, she's healthy, but she's resting because we're cautious, but that's not load management. And now, by the way, it's been upgraded. Originally, it looked like she was out for tonight, and now it's probable. Whew, excuse me. I caught that. I was able to pause for the sneeze so you didn't get it all over your screen. Yes, I know that wouldn't work. Okay, bear with me. So Amber Cox, the GM for the $500 million Indiana Fever, who completely screwed up this entire thing, the simplest thing of reporting whether or not a player is going to play in a game. The fans react as fans should and would, to the point, let's not forget, this became an absolute mess in the NBA to where they had to start implementing rules around all this load management stuff because the fans of the NBA, right? This is not, now it's amplified being Caitlin Clark because obviously she's 90% of the fans in the WNBA. But this is the same thing that was going on in the NBA. Okay, so let's make that clear. This isn't, oh, this is an overreaction because it's Caitlin Clark. No, this drove the NBA to change rules because of how upset fans were getting to spend the money they spent for the price of tickets to go to a game, and then the superstars who are healthy are sitting on the bench. Okay? And so Amber Cox's reaction, this is insane. Her reaction is to passively aggressively attack the fans who are rightfully upset over the Fever organization complete incompetence and lies around Caitlin Clark's missing Wednesday's game. This is the actions of a petulant, immature, bratty little child who is lashing out. It is so embarrassing. This is Amber Cox should be embarrassed. No one with this temperament, no one with this lack of maturity, no one with this lack of self-awareness should be anywhere near the position of GM of a professional sports team. And what's really sad about all this is typical for the WNBA. The WNBA is an absolute mess. As I keep saying, it's a combination reality show and social club. Again, set aside Caitlin Clark. This could be the NBA and any superstar. The fans reacted the same way, rule changes. There is not a single GM in the NBA who would react this way to fans staying away if they were saying, I don't know, they were going to a Lakers game to see LeBron or going to, Oklahoma City Thunder to see Sass or, whoever it might be. Going to see Durant or Steph Curry in Golden State. And they were pissed because they got this nonsense at the last minute, amplified and made worse by all the shifting stories because the organization was so incompetent it couldn't give you a straight answer because I'm not sure they even know. And Amber Cox, and like I said, she did this for a couple of posts. She's smacking down the fans for their very legitimate reaction to her incompetence and doing it for a win against an absolutely terrible expansion team. This is wild. As you can imagine, like me, yeah, they're not having it. This may be the most tone-deaf tweet ever. Newsflash, Caitlin Clark is the only reason anyone gives a crap about the WNBA. I know she's not but do the best she can and not effing this up. She is the one chance you have at lasting relevancy. Yeah, you're not Apple. Wait, you beat an expansion team? Say it isn't so. Tell us, how many viewers can you lose before you're in breach of your media contract? Whose fragile ego are we protecting by pretending Caitlin isn't special? Your slow walk announcements regarding Clark's health are going to require more than 1 hour notice. CC fans, this is a woman not afraid to lose her job. She is gloating about it openly. Again, with the tone deaf, I read they did great in 2023 as well. You guys don't need Caitlin Clark. You, Fever staff, and WNBA are complicit in the sabotage of CC's potential record-breaking career. To protect previous players' records who could not bring in a fan base to match CC's in a professional league, the Fever would be penalized for the fraudulent actions the other day. And yeah, and of course they weren't by the WNBA because the WNBA absolutely agrees with this. Now, I want to finish it up with this just so you understand what it is we're talking about. When Kelly Kroskoff was last in Indiana, and now I can't remember off the top of my head, but she made a trade to bring Stephanie White to the Indiana Fever. It was an incredibly lopsided trade. No one would have made that trade. But again, this is the Indiana Fever clique from back in the day. Also remember it's all running together now. I think it might have been 2024, or was it last year getting heat for the injury stuff? I can't remember. I think it was 2024 though, where Kelly Kroskoff got some heat from Indiana Fever fans for some nonsense, and she fled X, deleted her account, ran away. We basically never see or hear from Kelly ever since then. But remember, before that, she was all out in front. She is not a fan of the Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark fans. Stephanie White has no reason whatsoever to fear for her job because of her relationship with Kelly Kroskoff. She also has that type of relationship with Dawn Staley. And as you can see, the Indiana Fever are quickly becoming Dawn Staley's South Carolina in the WNBA, which is not a good thing if you dig deeper into the whole Caitlin Clark, Dawn Staley stuff in South Carolina and all of that. So this is more nonsense. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about the product on the court. But this stuff has to get fixed, too. It doesn't help. This is just going to say Indiana Fever fans will be like, nah, you know what? I'm out. I've had enough. You're telling me a grown adult running a professional sports team, is this so up in her freaking feelings that she's lashing out at fans who are pissed at how they botched the injury announcement of the star player? Let that sink in. Let me know your thoughts. Do me a quick favor, like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you later.